Hey, I'm Mark,
And I'm Craig.
and this is Songwriter's Tales with today's special guest, guitar god Pat Buchanan.
Pat Buchanan. Oh man, we've got some stories to hear tonight. Mark knows, I know, and all of you are about to know Nashville icon and serious guy from
And
Nashville's
touring
studio
guy, too.
and touring guy. That's right. So come sit down with us and enjoy. I know the story.
Yeah.
I know the story because you and I have spoken on the phone, just getting caught up with each other. Tell us about
Yeah.
Ed C. C.
Yeah, man.
How because Ed was responsible for you going out to Nashville. If you want to just give just a little short preamble on who he is for people that don't know, and then tell us that story, just so how it works in Nashville.
Well, first of all, Ed produced my favorite Paul Davis records and yours too. Cool Nights, I Go
Oh,
Crazy, Six
wow.
Love Affair. That's Ed on a lot of the backups on those things, playing bass and producing. And I was in a band called Homeward Angel, and we were playing in a bar in Panama City in 1980. And Ed came up to the stage and gave me his card and said, "Hey, you're a really good guitar player. If you ever get to Atlanta, call me." And so I did, but I couldn't get past the gatekeepers at the front desk. He worked at Web 4 Studio.
Mm-hmm.
It was run and owned, I guess, run by Eileen Burns, who was married to Burt Burns, who wrote Twist and Shout
Hmm.
and many other rock.
Wow.
But I finally got to him, and he hired me the next day. Said, "Be at the studio, be at Web 4 at 10 o'clock in the morning." Then he moved to Nashville, stayed in touch. And then one morning I had a day off in Long Island on this Debbie Gibson tour that I really did not want to take. So I tried to price myself out of the gig. And then they went, "Okay." And I'm like, "Oh." Now, and anyway, we have one more gig. And then I was home for a week. He said, "What are you doing next Thursday?" Nothing. I'm finally home. And he said, "Well, come up and watch us record Pam Tillis's second record,
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Money Pit Studios in Nashville." And I knew some of the players and some I didn't. But I mean, Ed made sure that everyone knew who I was. I mean, by then we all knew each other's album credits or what have you. I was lucky enough to have played with those aforementioned bands and artists in New York in the early 80s. And so, yeah, man, he just said, "Move up here now before the line gets too long." It's totally right. Everything he said. And then you'll get into writing and you know, you'll have a career because the talent pool here is just so deep, which is right. So I called those the Etsy prophecies until I think I was telling you this about 5 to 10 years ago. I now call those the Etsy scrolls.
I love it.
But yeah, and so his reason I have a career, roof over. The other guy is Jack Turner, who hired me to play on years doing jingles in the early 80s and in Nashville. He's also a successful songwriter who had hits on Barbara Mandrell and Georgia Middleman and different people in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. So that's how I learned to really be a studio musician. So those two guys were really in my corner in the Atlanta days. And that studio, Doppler Studios.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, man, I learned how to be a studio musician, albeit, playing on fucking Jello commercials. To quote the great Brendan, thanks, bud. He said, "Why don't I go down there and play on a Jello commercial when I can produce this record on the Georgia satellites, hippie hippie shakes for Cocktail, the movie, Tom Cruise."
Mm-hmm.
And we did so many records together, like little really budget records. Me and Brendan and Ricky Keller, R.I.P. Before he moved, to LA and busted wide open. So you still did whatever you could do, just scrounging crummy little, $50 demos or,
Sure.
independent records that might not have been very good. And we just did whatever we could to be a professional musician. That's by the time, this time I quit a band trying to get a deal. And, we did demos with Ed C. and with Eddie Offord and with Rodney Mills. And
Mm.
so so long to not quite getting signed, which was always the dream. As soon as I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, I was young, but I did see that,
Yeah.
you know.
So
And
I've got to interrupt you really quickly.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty caught up, man.
So I need to interrupt you. You mentioned Eddie Alford and Rodney
Yeah.
Mills, and for those
Yeah.
of those in our listening audience, Eddie
Yeah.
Alford produced Yes. Go ahead, tell us about Eddie Alford, and just so they have an understanding of who you mentioned just now.
Yeah, please. Well, yes, roundabout. Good gosh. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. At the
Ooh.
time, we were doing an album at the same time with the guys in Blackfoot. Eddie's, he goes deep, man. He played on produced some really important progressive rock records. My favorite being, yes, Fragile.
Yeah.
And then guy Rodney Mills, of course, produced Leonard Skinner and Atlanta Rhythm Section, quite a few bands in
38 Special, didn't he?
38.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
golly, they're such good guys. I was able to meet Don Barnes and Jeff Carlisi through that association. So, and then just the frustration of not getting a deal made me go, well, I guess I'll go plug myself into a band that has a deal, and that was Cameo.
Nice.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew Word Up was going to be such a funk milestone?
The versatility, man.
I had no idea, man. I grew up in North Florida being able to hear soul music on the radio and stuff. Cameo, and yeah, my sordid past is all up there for y'all to see.
Mhm.
But Cameo was like funk, maybe reggae in the middle bridge, and then Eddie Van Halen straight up whammy bar Marshall. And, all in every song, very versatile within each song. Had 2 amps and a Marshall and a real clean amp, which was probably a Mesa. Switch back and forth mid-song.
So growing up,
Yes.
who made you wanna be a guitar player? I mean, what guitar players influenced you?
Well, I hear you, man. Well, my parents were musicians.
Right.
My mom's a singer. So, early on.
Was there anybody that you heard and you went, "Oh, man,
Oh, yeah.
yeah."
Well, that most assuredly was the Beatles. I think I was in the 4th grade, maybe 3rd grade. Beatles on Ed Sullivan. But then after that, every Sunday night, religiously, the family watched Ed Sullivan for the band. And then, man, when Bonanza came on, we had to go to bed. And I should be able to quote that theme song. The Wild Wild West is in my head at the moment. But so here comes the Stones, Kinks, the Yardbirds. My brother is 2 years my senior, is my absolute rock guru. Hey, man. And my parents, bass jazzers, man. We don't know music in my house until when Hee Haw came on and
Mhm.
whenever it was. So, George Harrison.
Yeah.
But man, so we'd get together with this guy who lived a block over in his little back shed. His name was Trip Anderson. And we would play, tennis rackets and brooms and pretend we're the Beatles. My brother's like, why don't we pretend we're the Yardbirds, man? And he had a single, For Your Love by the Yardbirds with Jeff Beck with that striped shirt.
Mhm.
And the Kinks, Tired of Waiting. Well, you really got me. But, right after that and All Day and All of the Night, the song started getting really swanky. Tired of Waiting.
Mhm.
Anyway, so, it was all British bands for sure, man.
Okay.
At first, definitely George Harrison, Jeff Beck from the Yardbirds is in there. Thank you. And other guitar heroes, Brian Jones
Mm.
and Keith Richards. I mean, I sit there and look at that Stones record, and it had a little booklet. Never seen anything like it, and there's a picture of Brian Jones with wide whale corduroys and a Rickenbacker 12 string, Brian
Mhm.
Jones haircut, and those white looking English bowling shoes, you know. So he was definitely a guitar icon, but it was still songs, bands and stuff. I mean, okay, until Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
And so I'm in the 7th grade, and I heard Fire, coming through an AM radio riding. I was walking home, and somebody was riding by with a Volkswagen and a AM radio, and Fire was on the radio. So we certainly had a Hendrix poster and a black light. We had a 4-foot black light, me and my brother.
Nice.
And then summer, he was such the envelope pusher. As soon as Led Zeppelin came out, he was on it. Borrowed Led Zeppelin 1 from this kid down the block who didn't know nothing about music, didn't deserve to have that record, in my brother's opinion. So he put his name on the album with a Sharpie and never returned it. Not borrow or trade, like a baseball bat to some kid who had a S junior and no musical talent and stuff like that, never permanently borrowed it. I don't know if I ever gave that back or not. I guess I
That's
did
funny.
eventually.
Well,
But
that
yes, I'd
that
say
period of
British.
time,
Yes.
the early '60s, all the way up through the
Uh,
'60s, through Woodstock and then beyond, was for guitar
oh, yeah,
players.
for a guitar player. Because, Woodstock, I mean, definitely Carlos Santana. Of course, my
Oh yeah,
mom went to see Woodstock with us because I was only 13 or 14, and she dug Sly, Santana, and Alvin Lee
oh man,
Wow.
going on.
going
But
home.
definitely, I'd have to say, George Harrison.
Okay. I mean, that's, I think 1,000 guitar players would agree with you right off the bat. Well, I was going to ask you your musical tastes. Obviously you have an album of bossa nova, which is
Well,
really
it's
cool.
influenced by that, but it's still power pop and rock. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some songs that are like that, and then there's other songs that are total Beatles out the ass.
So, I mean, when you're writing for yourself, I
Yes.
guess when you're doing this kind of thing where you've played for so many different artists, so many different styles,
Yeah.
and does that bleed into your writing of your own stuff, or do you still feel pretty headstrong about I mean,
Yes.
I would
I would
think it would, but
say number two. I would say I already feel pretty, like me being a power pop artist and stuff. Into that when Jimmy Page was a session guy in the early '60s, he's like, you never knew who was going to show up or what the assignment even was. So in a day, he did Lulu, Twiggy, and at night, you really got me by the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. His whole career as a session guy. And one time Steve Morse said, man, I tried being a session guy one time. You know what? I just couldn't do it because he's a freaking Olympic guitarist. He's Steve Morse. He
yeah,
said, kind of like being a short order guitar player. And my co writing partner, Terry Simpson, at the time said, would you like fries with that solo?
yeah, yeah.
So, being a chameleon and being able to just change styles of the song from
Mm-hmm.
even inside the same song is fun. It can be versatility, can be a curse or a blessing. Now, if you're a solo artist, you need to find the one thing that you are and just reek of it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
As versatility is an advantage.
that's yeah, that makes sense.
You
in
know?
your in your career, I just wanted to ask, 'cause we're gonna have some people once we post this and people find out, so especially guitar players and
Sure.
Nashville knowledgeable folks, they're gonna hear your name. They're gonna, well, I want to hear something about Pat. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I've created. Mark and I were talking earlier, and we came up with a question, and it's this.
Right.
I don't probably could have done a little bit better on this, Mark. I didn't really get it down like I want, but I think you'll get it. The question is this: do you have a certain work philosophy or mantra that put you on the plateau that you're on, whereas
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of other musicians that are, and you know this, you'll be the first to admit this. You're a pretty humble guy. I know you well. They're great players. They're monster players, but they will never be in the position that you're at. Can you maybe define why that is, or what your opinion on why that might be, that makes somebody?
Yeah. I mean, I have an instinct and a feeling about it, but once again, quoting the great Ed C. Serve the song. It doesn't really matter how many chops you got or anything. If you're going to play a song, favorite guitar players are song guitar players like George Harrison, Elliot Easton, the guy with the card.
Yeah.
My favorite, the great Richard Bennett, song guitar players. So listen to the song and somehow try to, first of all, don't play, listen to the words.
Ah,
And somehow try to like make a little, the great Greg Morrow said he listens to the song and tries to see a little movie in his head and react to that, kind of like the soundtrack to that little movie. If you do that, the song will kind of dictate what to play. So I think that's certainly what's helped me be a session guy. Because if you overplay, and I mean, there's all kind of great guitar players
Sure.
They can play way better and way faster than me, and I have the utmost of respect for every damn one of them. And I'm a closet shredder.
Closet shredder.
That really takes to be able to play that style. And but you're not going to work if you don't listen first.